everybody, what is going on? CerealOverdrive here, and today we're playing Entropia Universe. What we're going to be doing today is a 30 PD Aatrox hunt. So we're just going to be going out, taking on some Aatrox, and seeing if we can't get a global or two. Again, it's only 30 PEDs, so as you guys can imagine, the loot isn't going to be, it's not going to be anything crazy, right? Like, don't expect this, don't expect to see some of the stuff you've seen in the past, like, not the past two videos, I believe, but the ones before that where I was just getting globals. That is not normal for those of you guys who are wondering. I wanted to clear that up. Ooh, we got a few too many attacking here, but let's take them out. Everything should be, actually, I did forget to repair, didn't I? So let's take a quick look over here. Looks like this already has, let's say the 203 is about 9 PDs of damage. But actually, I do know what it's going to cost. Roughly a 30 PD hunt is going to run me about 10 to 11 PEDs in decay. I know that just from, because I do this so much. That's one of the advantages of doing like 30 PEDs all the time. And also, a few people have been asking, like, how I pick, right? Like, why do I do 30 PEDs? Why don't I do 100 PEDs? Why don't I do 200? The answer is pretty simple, but I thought, like, we could just talk about that during this video, and I'll give you guys the answer. So, the big thing I was considering when I decide, like, how big my runs should be is how much time I've got, right? Like, I want to try and do daily videos. And I think about it, I'm like, okay, I can't do daily videos if I'm doing too big of an amount, because if I'm doing 50, 60, 70, even 100 PEDs, I know for some of you guys, like, there's some people in my Discord that always talk like they're putting in, 5 hours a day, right? That's not me. That's not me. I put playing video games, like, just per week, I'm probably putting in like 10 hours a lot of times. Recently, I like Apex Legend. I sort of tried to no life that. I got like 60 hours in on that in 3 weeks, which for me is insane. That's a crazy amount for me. For some people, though, that's just like a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I mean, to each their own, right? Like, if you live in a bigger city, I think you go out a bit more. There's a bit more to do. So there's a lot more stuff where I'm just like out here, out there. Like, I can't just sit down and do 5 hours of gameplay. I can do, 30 minutes, an hour, do a few games, something like that. A lot of the time, most of my gaming time, honestly, because just with work, like, most of my gaming time is literally from 11 at night. Like, just now, this is how it's working. Like, 11 at night to 12 at night. That's like my perfect time. I usually play before bed. Then maybe I'll turn something on TV, watch it for 30 minutes, I'm off to bed, right? That's just like my schedule. On the weekends, it's up in the air, but I've been trying to do a bit more on the weekends. Like, I notice if I just sit inside all the time, I get depressed, right? Like, when I'm working, I'm just stuck inside this building. Like, the light isn't that good. It's a startup, so like, they're not, like, they can't afford a huge building with all this amazing stuff, so the light isn't that good. The hours are a little bit more than I was hoping for, but it is what it is. And it's just one of those things, like, if all I do is I come back and play games, like, I just can't do that. I can't mentally do that, because I'm not, like, if I'm working if I wasn't working a desk job, I think it'd be easier, because I've done stuff where I'm not, you got it first, I think. I'll let him take it. So, like, if I'm not working a desk job, right? Like, if I'm out in the fields or I'm out doing something, like, then I get back and I'm just, like, exhausted. I'm like, I want to just sit back, play games. Usually when I get back now, it's like I've got a bit more energy. Like, I've got more energy because I'm just like, I need to do something. So I'll, like, go to the gym, I'll go out, take a walk, do whatever, right? Just get outside and sort of, like, I don't know, feel like I'm not sitting inside all day. So yeah, that's just my thing. That's just how I am. Like, I've noticed if I sit inside, usually I get like a little bit depressed. So I try to avoid that, right? Like, I try to keep myself mentally healthy, and that's why I don't play for that long. I still think 10 hours is a pretty solid amount to be doing anything. If you're doing it like week on week, which is sort of what I'm doing. So I think it's reasonable, but that's one of the reasons why I don't go with larger runs. The other reason is just the cost. So it's the same thing like with the Twitch, right? Like, when I do Twitch for 2 hours, like, that's cool. But I was noticing a lot of that stuff, and the cost just isn't maintainable with Entropia Universe. So, like, you guys are thinking, like, all right, well, you can still do 100 PEDs in an hour. And you're right, I could. But I could not keep that going. When I get globals, yeah, of course I can keep going. But a lot of the time what happens is these longer hunts, they just turn into these, like, losing fests where I'm just taking loss after loss after loss after loss, and finally I'm like, oh, this is not good. So yeah, like I try to avoid that. Just because the losses get to be too big. I could not do daily videos. As far as like my income goes, as everybody, I think most people know, I'm a non-depositor, which means I've never put any money into this game. I've never paid any money to this game. All I did was put in time and worked my way up. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people watch these videos, because a lot of people, when they play, no hate against this, like I completely do it now, but a lot of people, when they play, they just put in money, and it's the easy way to skill. It's less challenging, and I think even the people who deposit will admit that. But if you don't deposit, a lot of what you're doing is just wasting a lot of time doing stuff that just gets you almost nowhere. You're slowly edging out. You're getting a little bit here, a little bit there, and you're trying to make it work. It's not the easiest thing to do. And because of that, I've managed to do pretty good, I think. I've managed to make a lot of PEDs. I've managed to do very good for myself. But the one thing that I've always got to remember is I can't like exceed my limits, right? So if I start selling armor, if I start selling deeds so that I can play the game, eventually I'm going to run out of money and it's not going to work. What I do is I play off the profits that I make from my deeds. Those profits are roughly 60 to 70 PEDs a week. So again, if I'm doing a 100 PED run, if I take 50% losses, I can't do a 100 PED run anymore. 30 PEDs seems to be the sweet spot. Like 25 was what I was doing. 30 works too. Nice loot there. Speaking of maintainability, that's going to help. But yeah, like one of the things I want to do, one of the things I strive to do is hunt in a way that works, okay? So like 30 PDs is perfect, because if I wanted to do a 100 PD run, I probably just wouldn't record it, because if I do that every day, it's too much. You guys see sometimes I do 50 PDs, it really depends. So that's one of the reasons, and the main reason is because I think that for YouTube, it's the best format. These videos, I'm trying to make each video run about like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes long. I think longer than that, a lot of people just get bored with it, and they're like, why am I watching? If it's too short, then people are still like, they're like, well, you don't get much content, right? Like people can't. Let's head back. We're about done with this run. People can't figure out, like, you can't get a full thought out, right? Like, you guys see I'm still talking about the same topic, and we're headed back. Like, that's the perfect amount, because I'm running out of stuff to say. And I find, like, because I've tried doing, if you guys go back, you can see I've got a huge video backlog. Like, there's plenty of hours of me just bullshitting online when I'm playing Entropia Universe, talking about the game and everything like that. But what I find, though, is like 100 PDs, I can't keep the conversation going that long. So then I'm left with, do I want to put it on Twitch? Which a lot of the times I do, but like right now, again, like there's just, it's like my girlfriend's sleeping right now, right? Like if she wakes up, says something on this video, just, hey, edit it out, no big deal. If she wakes up and says something, it goes on Twitch, then now we've got a problem, because people are going to be like, oh, your real name's this, and you live in Boston, and you're moving, and you're doing this and that, and you said once you like this, and now all of a sudden someone's no-lifing it, putting it all together, and trying to figure out who I am. There's definitely people who manage to keep themselves secret for, like, there's a lot of people who show their face and nobody really knows who they are. They don't get doxxed or anything like that. But for me, it's just like one of those things, like, is the risk really worth it? I think for a lot of the people who do it, the risk does end up being worth it, because they're like, well, hey, if I get spotted, like, this is my career, or I'm making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month off of this, and in my job, that's about what I make. So like, if I really needed to, I could just fall back on this and I'd be fine, right? For me, I can't do that. Entropia Universe is not a big game, so even if you're sort of the biggest name in the YouTube scene, which I think, not to brag or anything, but I think I'm probably the biggest name in the YouTube scene just because I keep at it. But yeah, like even if I say that, right, like I'm the biggest Entropia Universe YouTuber out there, not streamer but YouTuber. That doesn't really matter, because it's not that popular, and I'm getting a couple hundred views, not a couple thousand, or 10,000 or 20, right? I think for YouTube, I think when you can get about 100,000 daily views, that's when you're looking at something that's sustainable long term, as far as just what I'd need sort of income wise to replace my job, just for those of you guys curious. Alright, so let's see where we're at PED wise. So it looks like we're making 25 PEDs off this run. Not too good, to be honest. Let's check this. Ooh, so we got 2 PEDs of universal ammo because I did end it early. So we've got about 27 PEDs. Let's take off that decay. Again, I forgot to repair. Sorry about that, guys. But decay is going to be roughly 10 PEDs. So we're looking at about 17 PEDs returned out of a 30 PED hunt. When you do the totals on that, I lost about 13 PEDs. So those are some intense losses. The globals I've done and everything like that's definitely made up for it, so I can't complain. But if you guys are wondering, like, is this sustainable? If I did a 100 PED hunt, I'd be down 30 PEDs, and I couldn't do 100 PED hunts, and then the next one would be 50, and if this happened again, then I could do another 50, and I'd be out of hunts. I'd be out of runs that I could do. So that's sort of, again, like another sort of this defining factor behind why you don't see me doing some of that stuff. Anyways, I hope this video made sense. I know there's a lot of people that have given me like a little bit of flack every now and then about why not do a bigger run? Like, these results aren't, you know, I want the full results statistically. I want you to do 1,000 PEDs and tell me this area is bad. And it's like, well, I could do that, but that's not the point of these videos. The point of these videos is to have a bit of fun, you know, just talk a bit, like hang out, get some Entropia Universe content out there into the universe. And I like those wild swings. That makes these videos way more interesting. If I do 1,000 PED run, I'm gonna have to sit down, I'm gonna have to edit it. That's gonna take me like 7-8 hours to do. Well, probably not like now, but it would probably take me like 5 hours to do, right? It would take a while to do that. Maybe 6, 7. So that's 1,000 PED run would take 7 hours. Right? Who's going to sit down and watch a 7-hour video? Most people are going to see that and get fatigued just looking at it. They're going to be like, I can't put this much time in. Just Cereal, I'm just going to skip to the end and see the results. All right, that's like, great. And I get, you know, a couple hundred views like I always do, and I probably would lose $30, and then I couldn't play again for, well, 1,000 PEDs if we do the collection. If we do the math on that, right? If I'm making about 50 to 60 PEDs off deeds, that'd be about 6 weeks worth of income that I'd be losing there. So that's why you don't see me doing it. Plus, it's not as exciting. I can't be like, oh, look at that, we're in the profit. Or look at that global that decides to run. It would be like, all right, we got a global, but can we get 2 more? Because that's what I really need. And then after 2, I'd be like, actually 3 would be real nice. Anyways, guys, I hope this makes sense. Sorry about dragging this on a little bit too long, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, as always, feel free to ask them down below. If you watch this video, like this video, please support my channel. It's a small YouTube channel, I know, but every bit of support does count. It does help me. It does let me know that people are interested in that this content is actually good content that I'm putting out. So hit the like button if you like the video. If you dislike it, hit that dislike button and let me know. Please let me know why, because that helps me improve. I don't mind a dislike, but I do mind a dislike when you don't say anything, and now a bunch of people are going to do that because they think I'm going to get triggered. Thanks, guys. And if you haven't, feel free to hit the sub button. Everybody knows what's up about that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace.